When you saw the title of this video, How to Find a Trade in 15 Minutes, many of you probably thought to yourself that it was some kind of scam. But trust me, it's really not. Today, I'm going to walk you through a strategy called In Play and explain exactly how it works. This strategy is what you turn to when your homework doesn't pan out because the market opened with a massive gap up or down, or if the specific asset didn't work out because of a gap. It's also for those days when the market is flat and your homework goes out the window. To do this, we use very simple public filters that anyone can set up. What are we checking out first? I'll start with the theory and then we'll move on to the practical search. First and foremost, we look for assets that either open with significant gaps or are trading on massive volume. To take it a step further, I gotta say I was trading this 27 years ago when my homework was done and I still had time to trade in-play assets, or what we call trading off the market. Essentially, you are trading whatever is active in the market right now. We prioritize assets that have made a major move up or down, or those with exceptionally high volume. Take a look at the screener. If we go to the home section, we can see the stocks that have made significant moves. Let's look at a few to see what actually fits our criteria. Naturally, we're going to ignore this junk. Anything trading below $1 is useless to us. Here's an interesting stock, but the volume is a bit low. Let's check this one, DOO. Actually, let's try something else. I'm going to list everything as we go. I've got my notepad right here. I'll use this to jot them down, and then we'll analyze them together. So, we have that stock. What else? This is all too cheap. Bird. Moving on, there are quite a few. TRAW is no good. See, this one is cheap. A GAE. This is too low. Now let's move here. Bird. We've seen that. IMMP. Just curious, it's a low price stock. I'll keep switching categories to keep things interesting for you. VSA. Why am I looking at these cheap stocks? Now because a setup might happen. NICM, massive volume. It might be leaving consolidation. NNBR, too low here. Too low. XNDU, 1 million. Oh, we've got a new high over here. Let's see what else we have going on. We already have these. See? Insider selling. That's not enough. No proper volume. There are plenty of other filters available that show these things, but I usually don't use them. I prefer to stick to what I understand. By the way, you can add car to your watch list. It's at 415.26, if I recall correctly. Yes, that's right. 415.26. If there's a 415.26 upside breakout, we may witness a short squeeze. What's more, if the asset pulls back into the 372.55 area, it would signal a classic false breakout similar to what we see here, and you could catch a very strong move. The volatility is off the charts. I'll give you one vital piece of advice. If you're trading a stock like this, you have to use the 1-minute chart. Look, you can see the first level here on the 1 minute, even at the 400 mark. Let's make a note of that. Card 400 is a local level. Don't worry that it's just a 1-minute chart. The price tried to break out the 400 level 4 times. If it breaks out that local level, and the volume is huge, if it breaks out $400 to the downside, it is very likely to get an impulse. I've noted all of this down, so we'll check back on them together later. Now back to DOO. This is a very interesting stock. Let's check out the monthly chart. You can see a very strong level around $50. Typically, round numbers like $50 act as very strong levels. Let's see what we have here. Okay, we don't want to bounce, so I'm writing down DOO short at $50. That's how I mark it, short $50. Why? It tested $50, bounced slightly by about 95 cents, and is now heading back toward the primary move into the false breakout. So it's very possible that once it's below $50, the decline will accelerate. This is how I keep track of everything, or I'll set the so-called alerts. I've set an alert for $50. Next up is Bird. Look at what happened. It's already started a partial reversal. Here is the first level. Look at $10. Below $10, Bird is a short. Short at $10. What's interesting is that this is a pump stock. If you look closely, there is a very strong level around $9. You should note that down. If it drops below $9, you can short it. It likely went up out of nowhere. If the stock hits the $9 area, it's in serious trouble. IMMP. That's it. This stock is on its last leg. It's not even worth watching. Cross it off. VSA. This is just a small ETF. It had a nice spike, but cross it off. Don't waste time on stocks that won't deliver. NICM, this is a mess. Look closely, it was a SPAC, right? Most likely it will continue to fall. Let's check the low, it's 8.50. Okay, 8.50 short. NNBR, nothing interesting here either. It just spiked out of nowhere. No real setup. Yeah, cross it off. XNDU. Yes, this one definitely goes on the short list. This stock experienced a strong, uninterrupted move higher. If it starts moving back into this range, the high is 16.30, it's a short. So what have we accomplished here? We've identified our assets and filtered out the ones we don't need. Now let's go through each asset one more time. DOO, we're sticking with $50, nothing else to add there yet. There is one major advantage to this approach that I want to point out. When you do your prep work this way, you get rid of the human factor. That is crucial. Your assets are already on your list. The second critical factor is the asset itself. It must fit your scenario, not the other way around. That is critical. The charting software I'm using is eSignal. It's pretty expensive, about $300 a month just for the charts. I've used it for many years. It's a luxury, but you really have to love trading for it to be worth it. Alrighty, moving on. Bird, what did we set for Bird? We set $10. See, this is interesting. $12 for Bird. It's starting to move upwards toward the $12 level. You could look at $12. There was an initial stop there. That said, the volatility here is truly through the roof. This is extremely high volatility for a $10 stock. You should only consider stocks like this once the volatility begins to die down a little. You'll find many more of these assets during the release of quarterly reports. Someone mentioned that VSA looked interesting. I don't see why. Nothing is interesting about it whatsoever. I assume someone saw this, but it's an iShares fund. You won't get anything out of it. NICM. All right, here's our NICM. Nothing for now. We have short at 8.50. XNDU. We've marked our key figures, so what we do now is wait. There's nothing else you can do. You have to let the market come to you. And now CAR. Look at what I showed you at $400. Do you see? We just picked CAR, and look what's happening. On a low time frame, it hit the $400 level. You could have just made $25. The volatility is super high. I'd be looking to catch it a second time. That's the level, right? We wrote down CAR at 400. You're seeing it happen right now. High volatility, but the stock is still heading down. Everything suggests the upward move is over. Now we're watching what it will do at 372.55. It has already broken out 372.55. Usually, with stocks like this that have rallied aggressively, a magic panic sets in on the way down and the asset starts to plummet. Now we need to see how it behaves. Keep in mind that it had a massive move prior to this. There's a good level. Look, bada bing, bada boom, and we just made $35 right before your eyes. That's nearly 10%. It will likely continue lower. Wait a second. See, there was a stop over here. It moved 10% and halted. It is likely to open and move further down. Do you see? It had a minus 10% stop. It traveled exactly $40. 10% stop and froze. Now we have to wait for it to reopen. Trading is halted at minus 10%. Remember, you have to analyze the higher time frame through the lens of the lower one. If you're looking at the hourly or daily chart, you must switch to the 5-minute chart to see the actual movement. Did you see that? If an asset is moving fast, I switch to the 1-minute chart right away. This is super important. You must watch the 1-minute chart. Let me show you. This all just happened live. I don't want anyone saying we're showing this after the fact. From that 364 spot, we dropped to 345 and we're still falling. Check this out. I gave you 2 points today, 400, and everything else followed perfectly. Let's do one more run through. Will likely break out $50. Yes, I really do believe it will. Bird, the volatility is dying down here, so we are sitting tight. This looks pretty good. I like this accumulation. NICM doesn't look bad either. XNDU. We have to wait. Guess what? I just got an alert for DOO. Let me show you what that looks like. See, the alert just went off at 10:24 at the $50 price. We have our short set at $50. Let's look at DOO. As you can see, we've just hit the 50 level. This means our entry is below $50. In other words, our entry point will be below the $50 mark. There it is. We've touched 50. Now we need to break out 50. You see, it's at exactly 50. We need a breakout of $50 to enter the position.